So you could sit back, relax, reminisce about how you was this and did that, but it's less about what you did, more about who you is and how you impacting these kids. How you impacting these kids? Get stepping. Get stepping. Get stepping, cause it's less about what you did, more about who you is and how you impacting these kids. More about who you is and how you impacting these kids. Yeah, that's the one right there. Until next time, as always, get stepping, get stepping, get stepping, get stepping.
Well, hello. How you doing? I know you miss me because I miss you. I am excited to share this moment with you. I'm grateful for the release and the completion of Steps to Success Season 2, Loving the Journey. This has been about a year and a half in the making. It started in my mind well before you're experiencing this moment. So depending on when you're experiencing this, it's probably been well in the making, but just know that before it ever was released, this was thought about a year and a half ago. A lot of faith, a lot of persistence, that's really all it took. Not too much, right? That being said, thank you for coming here and experiencing the journey with me. If you don't know, my name is kind of irrelevant. The brand Steps to Success is what we're here for. And the steps to, see, there's no to destination. There's no end destination with success. I actually believe how you are in one area of life is how you will be in all areas of life. I believe the journey is the destination. That's why you have to get to stepping. And that's why this hike, this video, is the intro. This is the intro. This is more than a hike. This is more than a mountain. This is nothing more, nothing less than a symbolism of life. See, as we experience life, I really believe that we go through ups and downs and challenges that may even seem impossible. And you may want to quit, much like when you're on a hike. You're hiking, you're tired. You can quit. Nobody will know. It's just you and the mountain, you and the trail. It's just you and the next step ahead of you, you and the next pebble, the next rock. Nobody would know except for you. And for me, that's all that matters. The fact that I know that I gave up when I could have kept going. That's why it's not an option. Stopping, not an option. And that's how we're experiencing this moment right now. That's how you're watching, what you're watching right now, because I decided to one-up myself from last year, from last season, from Steps to Success, the first season. Decided to one-up myself. I believe I achieved that. That's why you're experiencing this moment with me, because I believe the journey is the destination. You just keep going, no matter what's in your path. Also, I put results well over my mental well-being sometimes. And that's another reason why you are experiencing this moment with me, because on these hikes, I get a lot of energy, I let go of a lot of energy, a lot of negativity, or I even just reflect sometimes on things that I have to figure out. And that's why I hike like every day. But it's also why you're able to experience this moment, because there's a lot that lays dormant in my mind that I don't speak on, that I don't give attention to, yet in its own way, it keeps me going. And it's the sole purpose that I've experienced the level of success that I have experienced, which I still have so much more to experience. So in this guide, I will attempt to take you inside my mind on this hike. This is more than a hike. This is my mental state. And also you can see how I have excellent hiking skills, so I think it's an equal trade-off. All right, now before we get into the sharing of the book, The Intangibles, where I discuss the intangible qualities that goes into keep going on your journey, that goes into the next step on your journey, the intangible qualities, the things that you don't see that created what you're actually looking at right now. It wasn't the skill set. It wasn't the things I had to buy. It wasn't that. It was something much deeper. Now, before we get into that, I'd like to share with you some details about the hike, about where we're at today, right? So right now, as you are, seeing me do what I do best, South Mountain Devastator Trail is where we're at. So stats are provided courtesy of All Trails. All Trails is not sponsoring this video, but I actually mess with All Trails, so if they want to, what I'm saying, we can make that happen. But let them know. South Mountain Devastator Trail, length is 1.9 miles, estimate 1 hour and 13 minutes is what it's estimated for this hike to be. However, it doesn't take me that long, as you can see. Now let's get some more details. We got 1.9 miles in length, 662 feet elevation gain. Route type is an out and back. And let's actually take a look at the hike through All Trails view. So you see we're up in there, and you see that's the moving along. And once you get to the top, you're at about 1,892 feet elevation at the top. 1,888 feet elevation at the highest point. So whether we got a 4.4, and you see some of the reviews here. Stephanie Moore says tough climb. Derek Duran says pretty steep. The way down can feel a little dangerous if you make a misstep. Great short but intense trail that gives you with some nice views. And you see we have more in there. So All Trails is really great if you like to, this is what I use for my hikes, especially when I'm hiking a new trail. So definitely hit that up if you like it. Now, I want to share with you guys, if you got a second or maybe two, the prologue for the Intangibles. That way you can get, matter of fact, let's just get into it. Prologue. In the modern society we live in, there's a lot of focus on how to attain tangible assets such as cars, money, and houses. Unfortunately, for a great portion of society, the same focus doesn't translate into how to realize and utilize intangible assets. I find this ironic because most of the time, you must use your intangible assets to acquire the tangible assets that you seek. The good news is you've been using your intangible assets since the moment you were born, though you weren't aware of how the use or non-use of your intangible assets have been impacting your life. That is why I wrote this guide. There are 8 chapters in this guide. 6 of them are titled The Name of Intangible Assets that have been essential to my continued success on my journey thus far. Those 6 chapters will begin with the dictionary definition of the subject intangible asset. This will give you the perspective as I illustrate through each chapter how I utilize the asset to work in my favor. In addition, in some sections of each chapter, I will ask a question as if I am the reader, you, and I will answer the question extensively. The questions you hear are a mixture of questions I had in the beginning of my journey and questions others have asked me throughout my journey of success. Now, enough of the small talk. Let's get it. So guys, the next thing is the intro, but real quick, I love talking to y'all from the heart. Just real quick, before I get into the intro, I just read you guys the prologue of Steps to Success, of the Intangibles, the book. And man, let me tell you this. Writing a book was a process within itself. Like, I literally wrote a book, and it started off as literally just something that I wanted to I had so much in my my conscious. Again, I have a lot on my mind that I don't even tap into because I know results ultimately are results ultimately is what matters, right? And it matters because that's what keeps you propelling forward. However, if you don't tap into your mental state, then, what use are you really? What use are you not only to, yourself, but also, someone like me, I've always felt my purpose was bigger, and part of that purpose is really impacting the world. So what use am I to the world if I can't, really gauge my own mental state? So that being said, I decided to write a book. After I, got finished doing the months of consistent posting, which was, 5 months, 5 months, 5 days a week at least, posting every day on top of my day-to-day, business and real estate. So doing that every day, there was a lot that I really did not tap into creatively. I told myself, I'm gonna have to take a break. I told myself in June, I was like, hey, I gotta take a break. You're creating a rat race for yourself. So me, realizing that I wasn't gonna just, chase a hit every day trying to get it something to take off as far as the YouTube video, but that really was not what I was chasing. I made a conscious decision back in June when I was posting, from May to October. I said, hey, we're going to make this really be the foundational phase of things. I wanted that to be the foundational phase of things from the standpoint of the information, because there's going to be so many new people that are going to be joining the movement. And if you're new here, then, welcome to the movement, welcome to the journey. Make sure you check out the intro video to the channel. But welcome to the journey. And I knew you would come. I knew you were going to be here. That's why I laid a whole foundation. That way you'll, who is this guy running down the mountains? Well, you can go check out those previous videos, learn a little more about me. But you're going to learn, a different part of me, because I shared with you guys the business side, the foundational business tools that you need to just get propelled and started in the right direction. But there's more to that, right? Because you can have the tools that's needed, but if you don't have those tools, the intangible qualities, right? That persistence, that dedication, that stuff that you can't measure, but if you don't have it, you're not going to keep going. And I'm not speaking to you from someone that's, this is real. It's real. It's real. It's real because I've seen it from different angles, right? I've seen it being the one that experiencing it, but I've also seen it from being the one that's, seeing someone that wants to be great, that has all the qualities of being great, has everything they need, except the intangibles. So let's get into the intro of the intangibles. And link is in the description if you'd like to go ahead and get this book yourself. Intro. My friend, it brings me immense pleasure to know that you are headed in the direction of a deeper self-connection. In business, an intangible asset is defined as an identifiable non-monetary asset without physical substance. Examples include brand names, patents, and copyrights. So can you and I agree, many, if not all, successful businesses have intangible assets that are essential to their overall success? Yes? Okay, great. Now that we are on the same page, I find this to be ironic because, well, let's go back a couple of steps. My name is D'Angelo Simmons, and I believe as long as your heart is in each step on your journey of success, your life, then you are already a success. I know this to be true because in 2018, when I realized my journey of success, and I say realize because we are all on the journey, even if we choose not to acknowledge it. So at 19 years old, by way of real estate wholesaling, it took me 9 months to get my first wholesale deal. Through those 9 months, there was a lot of trial and error that could have influenced me to stop or choose a different route. Now let's fast forward to today, where I'm often asked, what keeps you going? And always, without thinking, I respond, my heart. Now obviously, you can touch your heart, which makes it tangible. But you can't touch love, discipline, persistence, patience, instinct, awareness, leadership. You can't touch your mind. You can't touch your emotions. You can't touch the intangibles. See, I find this whole thing ironic because I teach my audience that you are a business. I've understood this since 2018. This means just like how an intangible asset is essential to the overall success of a business, the same is true for you in your life, your journey of success. So in this guide, I don't plan to teach you anything because you were born knowing how to use your intangible assets. My intent with this guide is that it will lead you to the realization of the power that your own intangible assets hold. Now that the expectation is set, after reading this guide, you will find that everything you've wanted, business or personal, will start to flow into your life experience effortlessly, all as a result of you becoming aware of the power of your intangible assets. If you're familiar with the brand Steps to Success, then you know the way I believe in giving advice is through my own life experience. The same is true with this guide. I will take you on a trip through my personal use of intangible assets through my journey of success thus far. The examples that I share are not to be exactly replicated or taken as the gospel. Instead, use the information you gain in this guide as a reference point. Like you're copying a picture I've already drawn, but you're going to add your own color to it. Let's start with the main component.
Looks like we recorded correctly. We up here. Looks like we recorded correctly. Loving the journey. Welcome to the journey, baby. And this ain't even the best part. This ain't even the best part. The fun happens now when I go down. That's the fun. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. What started in my mind is slowly coming to tangible reality, and it's because of what I do daily. Why all of this is possible. I'm grateful for life. Life is beautiful. Living the life of my dreams right now. And the world don't know nothing about it. But what good is being the one if you're the only one who knows it? So that's why I'm coming to y'all live and direct. Welcome to the journey. Steps to Success, season number 2. Loving the journey. It's beautiful when your dreams come true. All right, now it's time for the real fun. Let's get it. like to clarify a point that I made earlier, and that's, I've seen people who possess physical assets that can propel them to be great in life. However, they just didn't use or utilize their intangible assets. I had previously said they didn't have intangible assets, but I wanted to correct that because everybody has intangible assets. It's just a matter of what you're doing with them and if you're consciously using them. So as you watch me run down this mountain full speed, one of the assets, intangible assets that I'm using is my instinct. I'm trusting my footwork. I'm trusting my mind and foot connection. In order for me to, run down this mountain full speed, I have to stay on point. And what I mean by stay on point is by being fully aware, fully present in the moment. Part of this full presence, part of the reason why I have to, is to make sure that I don't suffer any unnecessary consequences, like harming myself, or basically falling down the mountain. So in order for me to not to suffer those kind of consequences, I have to make sure I stay on point. And this actually brings me back to earlier this year, a couple months ago. I had a lady recommend me a book, and the book is phenomenal. You should check it out. It's called The Power of Now. And that book really changed my perspective. And one of the themes that the author speaks about is this idea that, there's certain people that engage in thrilling activities such as hiking and extreme weightlifting and other activities that if you're not fully present, then your life could be at stake. So the reason why people may really indulge in these activities is to get out of their mind, is to stop thinking, is to stop the current of thought, stop that voice that's in their mind that they, that's either thinking about how things can be better or either thinking about, worrying about the future. Either way, that voice is prohibiting you from being able to focus in the moment. The main idea that the author stresses is that in order for us to allow good into our life, we have to fully immerse ourselves into the moment, meaning fully accept the moment for what it is without having any, feelings or whatever. Not without having any feelings, but without trying to change the moment. Just accept it for what it is. And, you can't really change much when you're running down a mountain full speed or going up a mountain. You just gotta accept the journey for what it is. And part of this acceptance, it allows new flow, a new current of thought to actually flow into your mind, which is new ideas and all type of, which leads to new circumstances. So being able to stop thoughts is why people engage in these activities. No different than meditation, right? Meditation, you stop thought, and anytime I've meditated, I come out of it with usually more ideas or even just a re-owned sense of dedication and focus and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I say all this to say, become present, whether it's hiking or whether it's, whatever it is for you. Engage in activities to become present, to help stop your thoughts, to help stop that little voice in your head. The less you think, the more you allow the universe to actually just work in your favor, the more you allow your natural flow of well-being. So as you can see right now, I'm kind of struggling because of this. Look, as you can see, the camera has a mind of its own, but what's actually happening right now is this is the pure example of practice. And hear me well, practice does not make perfect. So, after I stopped posting for those 5 months in October, I instantly began writing the intangibles, and also I began practicing with the drone. So me being able to practice with the drone, I had 5 days of 30 days, of actual practice with the drone every single day, making sure I get on track. So after all that, I go to do the actual filming of Steps to Success. This is the first episode. So this first episode, I thought I was ready after all this filming. I get there, and of course, there was several malfunctions that I did not account for. But at the end of it, this one right here, I just decided to say, forget it. Like, this is my moment. I've been practicing for this moment. I'm not about to let anything mess it up. So I was faced with the battery was going to die, and I did not want to have to land the aircraft again before the battery died. That would have messed everything up. So I just decided to run down the mountain full speed with the remote in my hand. And the main reason I did that, guys, is because, again, I wasn't going to let anything mess up this moment. I had everything mapped out in my mind, and I felt like, at the same time, you have to improvise. And I've learned this since back when I started real estate wholesaling. I learned that, sometimes you have to improvise. Practice does not make perfect. I never sat around and figured out how to make the perfect phone call or how to approach the seller the perfect way. I just did it, right? And what I realized is the more that I do action, the more that I put in the work, the more I achieve somewhat perfect circumstances. And not because everything lined up perfectly, but it's because I played the hand that I was dealt as perfect as I can. So if you don't take anything away from this, guys, I want you to take away 3 things from this entire episode, and that is the journey is the destination. You have to embrace each step on your journey as if that is the end destination, because the journey is the destination. From beginning in real estate to me beginning my the brand, growing the brand steps to success, I've realized throughout the journey of each of these 2 paths, the more I embrace the next step ahead of me, that's the only way I get to where I want to go. So please remember, the journey is the destination, and we'll go into more of that this season. But another thing that you have to remember is to stay on point. Stay on point, guys. When you're out there, it's so easy to lose focus. Even when you're whatever your calling is, whatever your journey is, it's so easy to lose focus just due to all the extracurricular activities and people, relationships, everything. But you have to stay on point with whatever you're doing, and that staying on point includes you being fully present in the moment. There's no better place than the present moment, because you can't get anywhere without first fully embracing the moment. So stay on point so you can allow the universe to actually work in your favor, to set up events and circumstances that works in your favor. That way you can get to where you ultimately want to go. And finally, guys, last but not least, and maybe even most important, practice, it does not make perfect. So please, if you don't do nothing else, until next time, as always, get to stepping.